we have, obviously the four of us are here, and Supervisor Toth is also dialed in. He is on the phone right now, and he's amplified, so we will be able to interact with him as well. Getting started, I'd like to ask Mr. Sanchez just to go over some of the parameters of what we are facing right now with the budget and some of the consequences may be if we do not pass a balanced budget by the end of the year.
Okay, good evening, everyone. For those who have been here at the meeting, I asked earlier how many meetings. I think it's probably been 6, 7, or you probably agree that they've been working through to kind of get us to this point, to have a legally noticed proposed budget before you. You know, the number one obligation under second-class township code for the township is that the supervisors have to pass a balanced budget by the end of the year, by tomorrow. That's an affirmative duty that they have to do. If they fail to pass the budget, there's case law to suggest that would be nonfeasance, which is inaction, that would be grounds for removal. And there is, if you look at the second-class township code, it reads that no money shall be paid out of township treasury except upon appropriation made according to law. Recall, they have an obligation to pass a balanced budget by the end of the year. That would be according to law. So, needless to say, it goes that if there's no approved budget, then the ability to make payments from the treasury, in the new year is impaired. It's illegal. Can't do it. Obviously, there's a distinction between obligations already accrued in 2015 rather than 2016 going forward. As I said, there is a current proposed budget that's been duly noticed, proposing a $2 million increase tax. So that's legally compliant. That's before the Board of Supervisors tonight. If they were to vote on that, they're legally required to do, and a majority of the board approves it, that would be legally compliant and meet all legal obligations for the year. Because this is an election year, we discussed in the past, at least the last meeting, if not before that, that the second-class township code allows for the budget to be reopened as early as January 4th in a reorganization meeting with a new supervisor coming in. The board can, the second-class township code anticipates that the board can say and revisit the budget. And there are no limitations on that revisiting in terms of a decrease, and we discussed that. There are some limitations on a budget increase, as there would be for any amendments to this proposed budget. If it goes up, it makes sense as a matter of public policy that the township and the citizens would be concerned about increases at the last minute to a budget. Obviously, this room shows that's of great public interest. So that's what the second-class township code provides. So there would have to be re-noticing, which we wouldn't be able to do in time. So any increase. Decreases are different. There's no language in the second-class township code that, as it pertains to decreases to this budget or to reopening in January, two different issues. In terms of reopening the budget, obviously any action that's taken tonight in terms of resolutions or approvals can be undone in January 15th, otherwise that provision would make no sense, and the law doesn't support things that make no sense in the law. So that's kind of legally where we are procedurally. We have a mandate really tonight. I don't think anyone wants to show up tomorrow in terms of this current budget. Any other questions turned away, but we wanted to give you that overall framework of the legal requirements we've discussed prior.
Okay. Adoption of 2016, November 24th, 2015 budget. Make a motion to adopt the 2016 11/24/15 budget as presented. Second. Questions or comments? Ms. Scott?
Yeah. Hold on, I have a microphone for you to use, please.
With what Mr. Sanchez just said, I have questions in reference to Supervisor Toth. And I would like the board, and particularly Mr. Sanchez, the solicitor, to comment on it. One remark Mr. Sanchez said was, inaction of the board is grounds for removal. I would say that Mr. Toth has been inactive. So I question the fact that he is going to be allowed to vote, because I don't believe he's attended many meetings. I don't even think he knows much about the budget. So, and I won't even go on to his politics when he was running for office. But due to his inactions, I take offense, or whatever the term would be, that he has the nerve to vote. Then secondly, Mr. Sanchez said that you make all payments according to law. Well, Mr. Toth took payment that was never made public to the people. And there was never a vote that he would work in the office and accept money. And he never paid it back. And none of this board, maybe some made an issue of it, but the majority of the board didn't. So where does the law stand on that, Mr. Sanchez, for Mr. Toth? So therefore, again, I don't feel he has the right to vote on this very important matter. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. No.
Mark,
No.
What did you just say?
he said no.
I'm a nay as well. Can we? Mark, do you?
That's right.
Yeah, he said no.
Is it open to the public?
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
Let's pay the bills.
So fun.
That's your question.
No public comment here, buddy.
Well, you voted, so,
We'll give you a chance. Not yet.
well, what are we hanging around for? I heard a vote.
Yeah.
I went through, she just said 402, I found 167 without even touching any of the employees. I mean, just going through, the new car, taking the new car out, where the DA said he would give us a new car. I had 167 just going through for like 5 minutes, I didn't touch any employees or anything like that, I just was going through. Just trying to keep things on par, like with the part-time salary wages, keep that on par. I hit about 10 of them, and I came up with 167,000.
What are they?
Okay, sure. I have, well, if we pull, with the township manager, that's $70,000 right there. But I'm just trying to solve the budget, that I wasn't expecting, so, $70,000 right there, so take the $70,000 out, the township manager. There's 70 grand right there. The part-time, salary and wages, that's jumped almost 10,000 from previous years, we're at 15 to 18,000 for previous years. Like, why is it jumping so high, you guys know?
Are you talking about 1401.30?
Yeah. Why is it jumping so
That
high?
was an increase half the year for Maria at 20 hours a week.
So that's already, but when I look at the actual for this year, we're at 18,000, how long is Maria been putting in as far as?
No, that was also after having come in, so we
Okay.
had cross-training.
We had cross-training on that as well. Would you be able to hold that at the level we've been doing it right now? Would you be able to hold that at 18,000?
Is it 25 for 20 hours a week?
The 25 is for 32 hours a week. Probably.
Okay, so there's that one. The office supplies, that's jumping almost 2,500 within that. I'm noticing 4,000, 3,500, $3,000 from previous years, and then it's jumping to 6,500. There's 2,500 right there.
Yes.
That's with 140630. The server, the 1407 dash 20. We're jumping 15 grand right there. Is it possible to? The computer repairs and maintenance, that's jumping almost 15,000 in that. Yeah.
Right, well, the server is
That's for purchasing a new server, right?
correct.
Yeah. I'm just trying to solve, I mean, we can reopen this budget. There's, you squash that out, that's 15 right there.
You keep running into issues with the email crash and everything.
How much are you looking to bring it down by? Like, is there a certain millage that the board would be willing to consider? Is it either tax or no tax, or is there somewhere in between 2 and 0? Mark, any thoughts? For the budget, what is the board willing to go to? Because there's gotta be something between 0 and 2. Is the board willing to negotiate on what millage that they're willing to look at, or is it a straight no millage for you, period?
Well, I would vote, or I would make the motion for the, budget version A, dated November 24th. I'm just not sure how to distinguish between that budget and the current proposed budget.
Okay. I have some distinguishers, give me one moment.
Make it 6 pages, 10 pages, so we can see it. I mean, I know of what.
Some of these questions like that, we're still, these are new server.
Can you make a copy of my right one, just for Bob? Or do you have it more? Okay. Lisa's got one.
I'll take one.
Okay, Mark, you've had,
Mark, can you hear me okay? Okay. You had talked to me earlier about pulling of the budget from November 24th, budget that you had proposed involving cuts. I had worked with you. Just a second, I don't know if
Thank you.
Sorry. Hey, sorry guys, can we have quiet? We have, Bonnie's trying to discuss with Mark.
Yeah, but the public can't even ask a question. You
Go
talk
ahead.
about our money.
Okay, Mark, I had worked with you today on going over your November 24th budget regarding cuts. We had updated it with the December 29th, 2015 actuals, and then made some changes. I have a summary of the difference between your budget proposed, as well as the difference between that and the one proposed with the 2 mil tax. So I gave a copy to the board of the budget that you proposed. Some of the changes that have occurred since that one, let me give you a moment. requested that I change full-time officer other overtime to 2,000. We requested a change for part-time officers, instead of it being 15,000, moving that back to 50,000. Removing the retroactive raises for the public works, and then decreasing, the raises for the non-uniform staff, from 3% to 2%. When we got done with that, at the bottom, there was almost an $80,000 deficit still, and in his budget, he proposes that we solve the deficit by moving $80,000 from the capital expenditures account. Is that correct, Mark?
Yes, the balance, but there could be at least 3 other alternatives. The capital project, but yes, for that balance, specific budget, yes, that's correct.
That still has a decrease in fuel for the fire department.
Some of the things that that budget still has cuts on, first of all, it puts the earned income tax at $1.6 million. Right now, our earned income with the last payment we'll probably receive in December is around 1.51. So I would highly recommend not putting it at 1.6, since the last 2 years, we've only hit about 1.5, 1.55 roughly. Some of the notable differences is there's a cut in legal by 15,000. It removes the legal budget for the Act 537. It cuts legal for union negotiations with the road crew. It gets rid of the document scanning project, cuts out the township newsletter in hopes that we can do a self-sustaining or digital version. It'll take out the library donation, no server. It would cut back on the website. It would cut engineering from what was originally $20,000 to almost $5,000 for the year, and then cut all funding for the MS4 engineering of almost $15,000. It would cut about $23,000 out of overtime for the police officers. Would cut part-time only $20,000 from $70,000 to $50,000. That will still see a reduction in the workers' comp and unemployment. Cutting out the EMS fuel by $17,000. No new police vehicle, which I don't know if we'll need. And then, again, removing the retroactive raises for the road crew.
Guys, if I just spoke with JP for a second, can we have a split for a second executive session, bring Chief Porter in for 1 second? Just for 1 second, we should have met at 6 o'clock for this, but if it's possible, there's a substantial savings right there in what we can possibly do tonight. If you guys want to talk for like 5 minutes and come right back out? Hey, Chief Porter here, can you come back through with us?
We'll take a brief recess for executive session regarding personnel issues.